When trust dies in a single second. Have you ever had that one moment, not a slow unraveling but a split-second blow, where the life you built turned to dust? I have. I saw a truth I was never meant to see. If you've ever felt that kind of betrayal, let this story carry the weight for a while. We were the Hayes family. College sweethearts turned parents, dreamers turned doers, backyard barbecues, soccer Saturdays, crayon-covered fridges, Sarah and I. Imperfect but solid. Or so I thought. Lately, her business trips to Boston had grown longer. Calls rushed, her voice distant, her phone always face down. I told myself it was stress, a promotion, nothing more. Was too busy loving her, too busy being dad, until a chilly November morning, I was flipping pancakes when Emma whispered, "I miss Mom." Noah didn't even look up, just muttered, "She's always gone." It hit me like a gut punch. That night, I booked flights, a surprise weekend in Boston, just us. The kids lit up. Emma packed her sketchbook. Noah smiled for the first time in weeks. I called Sarah. No answer. Her voicemail was full. Texts unread. My gut twisted, but I pushed forward. I told myself she'd be happy to see us. We landed in Boston. At the hotel, the receptionist said casually, "Oh, Mrs. Coleman's reservation has 2 guests." My stomach dropped. My hands went cold. Sarah showed up at the door surprised, spun some line about a colleague named Lucas, said it was harmless, said it was a mistake. But I saw the truth in her eyes. And worse, I saw the kids watching. That night, Noah and I walked the harbor. His voice shook. "Dad, is Mom cheating?" I didn't lie. "Yeah, she is." He nodded, jaw clenched. We made a silent pact. Protect Emma. Keep her world intact. The next morning in the hotel lobby, she cornered me. Tears, apologies, stories that fell apart mid-sentence. She wasn't trying to save us. She was trying to save herself, I told her. "We're going home." Noah heard. He snapped, "You're lying, Mom. You hurt Dad. You hurt us." She reached for him. He backed away. Back in Myrtle Beach, the house was quiet. Emma clung to me. Noah vanished into silence and skate parks, and I unraveled. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Her ghost lingered in every room. Had I failed her, failed them? Then one afternoon I saw my old surfboard, covered in dust. A life I'd forgotten. I took it out to the ocean, looking for something. Steady in the chaos, Noah joined me. As we paddled, he asked, "Why didn't you fight her?" I said, "Because I'm fighting for you and Emma, not her." He nodded, but his eyes said everything. He wasn't just mad at her. He was heartbroken for believing in her. Sarah kept texting, "Daniel, please, I love you. I made a mistake. I read them in the dark," her words echoing like static. Some part of me wanted to believe, but all I could see was that hotel room, her bathrobe, Lucas, and the look in my son's eyes when the truth landed. Then one day, she pulled into our driveway. Noah was gone. Emma at a friend's. I was alone in the garage, waxing my surfboard, and not ready for what came next. If you've ever had your world collapse in a moment, if you've questioned everything because of someone else's lies, tell me your story in the comments. Subscribe to Broken Vows, where the truth cuts deep and healing begins. The sea lay still beneath a sunrise that gilded the surface like molten light. Noah rowed beside me, each stroke more sure than the last. Emma stayed closer, to shore, laughing each time the water knocked her down. For a while we weren't fractured. We were just us, drifting, laughing, letting the tide rinse the ache from our ribs. Noah caught a clean wave, his face lit with joy. Emma cheered from the sand, her voice like sunshine. I watched them, heart swollen. For the first time in weeks, the ocean asked nothing of us. It didn't judge, didn't whisper Sarah's name behind our backs. It only offered space and an invitation to rise no matter how many times we sank. Jenna, my friend from the flower shop, became my ballast. One afternoon, she burst into the coffee shop where I was ordering, red-faced, furious. "I saw Sarah at the market," she said, voice shaking. "She acted like nothing happened." I froze mid-sip. The coffee scalded my palm. Jenna had known Sarah since college. She stood at our wedding, held Emma the night she was born. Her loyalty was wildfire, and it burned hot. "She's a coward," Jenna spat, her eyes flashing. "She blew up your family and walks around like she's blameless." I didn't know how to respond. Some part of me wanted to thank her, to let her anger speak for me. But another part flinched, exposed, like my grief had been dragged into the town square. "Jenna, stop," I murmured. "This doesn't help." She looked wounded but nodded. "I just hate seeing you like this," she said more gently. "You deserve more than what she gave you." Her words stuck, not as comfort, but as a mirror. I was clawing for Noah and Emma. But who was holding me? News of Sarah's unraveling reached me whether I wanted it or not. Jenna said the office turned cold. The promotion vanished after the whispers started. At a PTA meeting, a mom I barely knew leaned in and whispered, "We're with you, Daniel." I smiled, but the support felt like armor I didn't ask to wear. Sarah's texts came in waves, apologies that turned into blame. "You're turning them against me. I'm trying to fix this. Why won't you let me?" Each message was a blade dipped in guilt. I didn't respond. I couldn't. The man who once loved her had been smothered by her lies. Then Noah exploded. A call from the school. A fight. He'd punched a boy who mocked him about Sarah. When I picked him up, his lip was swollen, his eyes wild. He stared out the window. "Mom's a slut," he muttered. The words cracked something in me. I couldn't let him carry that rage, even if part of me understood it. "You don't have to fight her battles," I said gently. "You're enough, Noah." He didn't speak, but his fingers wrapped around mine, tight. It was the closest we'd been in weeks. That's when I understood. Her betrayal hadn't just scarred me. It had marked our son in ways I couldn't undo. We kept going to the beach, salt water. And silence became our therapy, but grief clung like seaweed, always dragging. Looked at my children, at the fragile little raft we were piecing together, and knew I had to lead. Her choices broke us. But they wouldn't write our story. I still had a move left, one that would change the current. I paddled out every morning. The horizon stretched endlessly at Myrtle Beach. The pull of the tide reminded me life doesn't wait for your wounds to heal. But back on land, I wore her betrayal like wet sand. It showed in Noah's guarded eyes, in Emma's quiet questions, in the hush that filled our once lively home. I was their anchor. But inside, I drifted, haunted by questions that chewed at my mind. Was I enough? I have stopped her from turning to Lucas. The doubt gnawed, tearing holes in the man I thought I was. Jenna kept updating me on Sarah. "She's a ghost at work," she said, handing me coffee at her shop. "No one talks to her. Her big project got handed off." I nodded, but it didn't feel like justice. It felt like standing in front of a shattered mirror. This was the wreckage of the life I built. Sarah's texts grew wilder. "Why are you doing this? I miss our family." Each one stirred a guilt I was tired of burying. Was I being cruel? Had I pushed too hard? I erased them from my phone, but not from my thoughts. Then came the recital. Emma stood on stage, voice small but shining, and there, slipping into the back row, was Sarah. Noah stiffened beside me. In the parking lot, she approached. "Emma, you were incredible," she said, reaching out. Emma smiled politely but stepped back, and Sarah's face cracked. Noah moved between them, his voice low, sharp. "You don't get to act like nothing's wrong. You chose him." Sarah faltered. Later that night, Noah sat on the edge of his bed. Tears fought past the anger. "I hate her," he said. "But I miss her too." My throat tightened. "It's okay to feel both," I told him. "You don't have to pick a side." That night we drove to the beach, just us, we didn't surf. We sat in the sand under a starless sky and talked about school, about dreams, about anything but her. It was a breath in the middle of a long-held scream, a small piece of healing. Reminder that he wasn't just fighting her betrayal, he was fighting for himself. But the town didn't let her scandal fade. At the hardware store, Tom, the cashier, clapped my back. You're doing right by those kids. At church, the pastor offered prayers. It was kind, but it also felt like I was a statue in the town square, every crack on display, everyone watching. I wanted to scream, I'm not a hero, just a father trying to keep his kids from drowning. But I smiled, nodded, carried the weight in silence. Even Emma felt the tremors. One day she came home, sketchbook untouched, eyes lowered. A girl said, "Mommy's bad," she whispered, and curled up beside me. I held her close, tried to speak truth without breaking her heart. "Mommy made a mistake," I said softly, "but you are good. You are loved." She nodded, but the silence that followed said more. The doubt had already planted roots, and I hated Sarah for that, for stealing Emma's light. But I hated myself more. If you've ever carried that kind of heartbreak, just drop a dot. Your silence says more than any sentence. Jenna was my anchor. Her fire kept me steady until it didn't. Even she couldn't tune out the town's murmur. One morning she called, her voice was tight, uncertain. "Sarah came by the shop," she said. "She wants me to talk to you. Said she's falling apart. Begged me to convince." For you, I sat there frozen, the phone like lead in my hand. Jenna, my safe harbor, angry at Sarah in a way that had always mirrored my own. But now, I heard hesitation. "I told her to leave," Jenna added. "But she looked wrecked," Daniel said. "She's losing everything." A strange betrayal rippled through me. Not from Sarah, from Jenna. "You're not her friend," I snapped. "You're mine." That night Jenna showed up, her eyes full of heat and hurt. She said she wanted to feel the water again. I hesitated. She looked too small to fight the waves. But when we paddled out, her joy broke through. I steadied her board. She shrieked. She fell. She laughed like she hadn't in years. Salt water clung to her face. Noah joined us, his rare smile surfacing, and for a fleeting moment, we felt like a family again. They reminded me why I was still here, even when everything inside me wanted to drown. But Sarah didn't vanish. A month later, Lisa from the PTA pulled me aside. "She posted something," she whispered. "A Facebook group confession, long, weepy, public." "I hurt my family," Sarah wrote. "I'm far from perfect. But I'm trying. Daniel, Noah, Emma, I love you." The post exploded. Our town isn't big, but its opinions are. Some called her brave, others called her out. "You made your bed," one person wrote. "Daniel's better off," another posted. Read it alone, hands clenched, my heart battling grief and rage. Sarah wasn't just talking to me. She was broadcasting our pain for sympathy clicks. Noah saw it too. He slammed the door that night. "Phone in hand, she's lying again," he said, voice trembling, "acting like she's the victim, like we hurt her." I tried to calm him, but he was fire. "I'm done, Dad. I don't want her in my life." His words cut me, not because I disagreed, but because I saw what it cost him to say it. He was choosing between love and loyalty. I pulled him close. "You don't have to decide anything right now," I said. "Just be you." But I knew. Sarah's post had split something open. It split Myrtle Beach too. Some defended her, others stood behind me, panned loudly. Tom at the coffee shop handed me my order. "She's playing the martyr, Dan. Don't fall for it." Lisa invited me to a cookout. "Your family?" she smiled. But every kindness came with a silent script. Be strong. Move on. Be the man they believed I was. I wasn't anyone's hero. I was just a father, rebuilding from wreckage under a spotlight I never asked for. Jenna told me Sarah was unraveling. Her apartment was a carousel of failed connections. Work was cold. Her name dragged. Lucas had vanished, leaving her alone in the fallout. She'd started therapy, but her calls to Emma got shorter, her voice more hollow. I didn't want her to suffer, but I couldn't forgive her. Maybe never. Her betrayal had redrawn the map of our lives. I was still figuring out who we were without her. One night I told Jenna about the post, the backlash, how the weight of all of it was dragging me under. She just looked at me, soft but fierce. "You're not just surviving," she said. "You're creating something new. Don't let her steal that too." Her words hit deep. A lifeline. I wasn't alone. But I needed something more than survival. I needed a shift. One morning, I watched Noah and Emma surf, their laughter echoing across the water, and something clicked. A dream I'd buried surfaced. Surf school, tighter place to teach peace. I quit my desk job, drained my savings, called in a favor from Mike, and just like that, Anderson's Surf and Paddle opened on Myrtle Beach, a modest shack, boards lined outside. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. Noah pitched in on weekends, coaching kids. Emma sold her bracelets, her smile. Charming tourists. For the first time in a long time, we weren't just surviving, we were building something together. But Sarah didn't disappear quietly. One afternoon, she showed up, gaunt, eyes rimmed with desperation. Noah was in the middle of a lesson, Emma stringing beads. "I need to see them," she said, her voice low, almost pleading. "I'm still their mother." I felt the heat rise in me, but I kept steady. "You can't just drop in. They're not ready." Emma spotted her first, her face lit up. But Noah stormed over. "You don't belong here," he said, hands clenched, voice loud. "You shattered this family." Sarah's eyes welled. "I'm trying," she said. "I love you." Emma ran to her, wrapped her arms around her, and in Noah's eyes I saw the storm, love, hurt, fury, all colliding. I stepped between them. "Sarah, go. They need time. Let them heal." She nodded, kissed Emma's hair and walked away, her shoulders low. Noah turned his back. Emma wept. I held her tight, my own chest caving. Her presence reopened wounds I thought were closing. The surf school grew. Locals came. Tourists followed. Noah found his rhythm again. Emma's laughter returned. Her sketches brighter. I taught lessons with steady hands, my heart slowly stitching back together. The pain never left. It was just quieter. Sarah's betrayal changed everything, but it didn't get the final word. I looked at my kids, at the life we'd built from the wreckage, and knew we weren't her story anymore. The ocean taught me something simple and real. You fall, you rise, you fall again, but you always stand, and I wasn't done standing.